Hey YouTube, today I'm making a video on how to care for Brazilian rainbow boas and their setup. As you can see, this is my Brazilian rainbow. This is my female. I have two of them, a male and a female. She's about 3-4 months old and I only had her for like 2 weeks. And she's kind of dark compared to my male, which is really bright orange. Before I go into caging and substrate and lighting, I like to touch a subject that many people fail to address in their videos on how to choose a healthy BRB. The way you could tell if your Brazilian rainbow that you're buying is healthy is simply, there's many ways, there's up to 4 ways, 5 ways. The first one is just by looking over the body. If you see any mites crawling around or fleas or ticks, I would stay away from it. But this is the best way you can see if your BRB is healthy. Just look over the body before you buy it. Handle it. Ask to be allowed to handle it. Look under the belly for any lifted scales. That's a sign of mites hidden in there or fleas or ticks. And I would stay away from it. Like, I wouldn't buy it. But if you feel you want to buy it, that you see it's healthy, and because it's a problem you could easily get rid of by buying something like this. Jurassic mite. It's all natural and it'll get rid of mites, fleas, and ticks. So on to the next one. The second way you could tell if your BRB you're buying is healthy, it's by opening its mouth. You open the mouth, and if the mouth is sticky, like if you see a sticky like residue, or if it's not pink, if it's different colors like green or yellow, or it smells bad, I wouldn't buy it. That means it has an infection or is sick. So I just wouldn't buy that at all. You would just end up wasting a lot of money at the vet. The third way you could tell if your BRB is healthy, it's in the cage. The cage of the BRB you're buying. If there's a lot of them in there, it's kind of hard. But if it's just one, just look at the fecal matter. The fecal matter, if it's not one solid piece, and it's like, it has to be a little bit of white with all black, and it's all solid. If it's pellets, or if it has different colors, I heard a little bit of yellow is okay. But if it has different colors, I wouldn't buy it. That means that it might have internal parasites. Also, if it's like liquefied, like, you know, liquid waste, if it's not one all solid piece like I mentioned, I wouldn't buy that. I would just stay away from it. You'll just be sad when it dies, or just waste a lot of money at the vet. And the last way you could tell if it's healthy is simply just by observing its behavior. If it's just staring at the ceiling for no apparent reason, like if it's just staring like straight up, it's not even making an effort to move or like, you know, climb up, because usually they do look up, but they tend to climb up. That means that it might have internal parasites messing with the neurological system, and like I said, I would just stay away from that also. So those are the ways you could tell if your BRB you're buying is healthy, and that's about it. Now we can move on to the cage. Let me put her back inside. There she goes. The first thing is the cage itself. There's many different things you could use. You could use like for one like this, you could use a 10 to 20 gallon. And for bigger ones, 30 to 40 to 50. And for an adult, it's 100 gallon, no less. You could even house 2 adults, but it's better if you just have one. And you could also use shoe boxes. If you wanted the specs, like the length and the width, I have them. So just comment me or send me a message, and I'll be glad to give them to you. But yeah, that's pretty much it for caging. And now on to the substrate. This is what I use, is cypress mulch. I think this is the best substrate you could use. It holds humidity really good, and it makes your cage look really nice. And they like to bury themselves in it. They just like to go and just go to sleep. Even after you feed them, sometimes they don't come out for like 2 days, 3 days. If they feel really comfortable in their cage. But yeah, there's other substrates you could use also, like Eco Earth or a product called Earth Grow. I think it's plant soil. Those are other substrates you could use, but like as for neonites like mine's, like babies, you could just use paper towels. It's much less mass and less expensive. But if you want your cage to look nice, I would recommend cypress mulch, and it also holds humidity really good, like I mentioned. So yeah, that's what I would use. And you should mist it. You should always keep the humidity up to 85, 90. 75 is still good. So you should always try to keep the humidity high for these animals, since they're from the rainforest. And if you don't do that, they might dehydrate, have sunken eyes, or die. So yeah, just remember that 85, 75, 90% humidity. Okay, well that's pretty much it for the substrate. Now onto the lighting. This is what I use. It's a 100-watt Swamp Glow from Exoterra bulb, and right there I'm using the infrared light from Exoterra, a 150. And this is more than enough for my cage. And always try to keep the temperature at 80, 85, no higher than 90, and in the night no lower than 72 degrees. So remember that, no higher than 90 and no lower than 72 degrees in the night. And you could also use this right here, a black light. This is a black light from Arzilla, 150 watt. I use this right here. I put this right here on this dome in the night, and I keep the red one on over there in the night. And that keeps the temperature between 75 to 80 in the nighttime, depending on the temperature outside. It tends to be kind of cold in California right now, so I keep both of them on in the night. That's pretty much it for lighting. They don't need any UV lights. No snakes really need UV lights, so there's no need for that, unless you're gonna have live plants. Now to the next subject, which is decorations. As you can see, these are my decorations. I barely got this cage like 2 weeks ago, so I'm still not done with it. I need a lot of vines, like those vines. I like that vine right there. So I tend to have a lot of vines, a lot of things for them to hide in. And like they're kind of ground dwellers, so they don't really need anything to climb on, but it doesn't hurt. When they're babies, they come out in the night and they move around a lot, so a good climbing branch is good, you know. This one's big, it came with the cage. Also a water dish. It's very important to have a water dish. This one is way big for them, but it's little also, like it's not that long. And I know it's just a plastic container, but they like it a lot. Yeah, as you can see, my female is in there. She's taking a little bath. For this, if you have a big water dish, just put a little bit of water. Don't put a lot. And that should be more than enough for them, just with a little bit of water. And it's important to have one of these because they like to, you know, cool down if it's too hot, or before they shed, they get moisture in their body. And they also like to drink a lot of water. You could actually observe them doing that. And put like vines, because they're shy, they're very shy, so they don't really like to be observed. So just put vines so they could hide themselves from you. Well, I'm gonna make this a 2-part video. I will continue on the other part because it's about 10 minutes already.